Hey Hardy, 4th grade, Miss Grillo here. I hope you all are doing well, and I am so glad you've come and joined me for another episode of Math with Miss Grillo. So last week we were doing a lot of work with adding and subtracting, as well as comparing fractions with uncommon denominators, or denominators that are different. So today we are going to veer a little bit away from that, and we are actually going to be hitting a topic that we were looking at the beginning of the year, all right? So I know that was a while ago. That's why we are going to review today. And then in your packet for this week, there are multiple different pages in there that go along with what we will be discussing in this video today. So feel free to use this video to go back to and to use as a reference when you are doing those worksheet pages. All right, if everyone is ready, we are going to go ahead and get started. So today, we are going to be looking at the different forms that you can see numbers in. So we have numeric form, and that just represents a number in its base form. So, in its actual number form. So take a second, look at this number, okay, and try to figure out how much that is. How would you read this number? Very good. 10,000. We have 10, and then our comma to represent thousands. 586, okay? So that is it in its numeric form, or just number form, okay? We just have our numbers represented here. So that is one way we can see numbers. The next way is we can see them in word form. And in just a second, we are going to take this number and put it in word form. After that, we have expanded, and there are two different types of expanded. We can have expanded form and expanded notation. So today, during this video, we are going to go through all the different ones. So we just talked about numeric form. It is a number that is just written as a number, okay? So right here, we have an example of a numeric form number. And this is what we're going to use for word form, expanded form, and expanded notation. So it may be helpful to get out a sheet of paper and do this with me, or you can just come back to this video while you are going through. So we have our number, and that is what we're starting out with. And let's say the problem's asking us to take our number and put it into word form. Well, word form is relatively simple when you've already been given the number. You just write down how you read this number, okay? So, whenever we're reading numbers, we start from left and we go right. So here, I have what number? What number is right here? The number 10, right? So the very first thing I'm going to write in word form is going to be 10. All right. And 10 what? What do we have? 10,000. That comma represents thousands. So I'm going to write 10,000. All right. So we're at 10,000. Are we done there? Not quite. We still have a whole nother section. Okay, so remember this 1,000 represents our comma, and then we always have to put a comma after. Then we are going to move on to these last three numbers. So right here, what place is this 5 in? The hundreds place, very good. So we have 10,000, 5 what? 100. 500. All right, have, what's this number right here? 86. So I say this number 10,586. That's exactly what I'm just writing down. 10,586. So when it comes to word form, you're going to write it exactly how you would say the number. And vice versa. If you see a number given to you in word form, well, you're going to write it just how it sounds. So you have 10,000 right here. 10,000. Then I put my comma wherever I see 1,000, a comma. And then 500, we have the 5 in the hundreds place. And then 86. All right. So that is our first form, word form. Now we are going to move on to expanded form, all right? Now, expanded form is where we stretch out these numbers. So, whenever we are doing expanded form, our answer has to equal 10,586. And with expanded form, all you are trying to figure out is you are just breaking these numbers down. So something that may be beneficial is to create a place value chart. I did it right on here. You can do it separately. I know this 6 is in the ones place. This 8 is in the tens place. This 5 is in the hundreds place. This 0 is in the thousands place. And this 1 is in the 10,000s. Okay? And we know whatever my number expanded or stretched out is going to equal 10,586. So what we're going to go ahead and do is start in our biggest place value. So we have 1 what? What place is that 1 in? The 10,000. So we have 1 10,000. Well, if I have 1 10,000, that is just going to be written as 10,000. And next we're going to have to add. What's our next place that we're going to hit? The thousands place. Do we have any thousands? No, we don't. There's a big fat goose egg right there, a big fat 0. So we have the luxury of skipping that thousands because we don't have any thousands. We don't have to write it out. And moving on to our next place. And what place is that? Our hundreds. And how many hundreds do we have? 5. Very good. So I'm going to write 5 what? Hundreds. All right. Let's keep going. What place comes next? Our tens. And how many tens do we have? 8. 8 tens is the same as 80. Very good. I ran out of room over here, so I'm going to go down below. But if you have the space, you should really continue going across. So we're going to add our 80. And last but not least, we are in our final place, our ones place. And how many ones do we have? 6. So I'm just going to add 6. Now, if I were to go ahead and add 10,000 plus 500 plus 80 plus 6, what's that going to give me? 10,586. So we have just taken our numerical number and we've just expanded it into its place values, okay? So we have our 10,000s represented, our hundreds represented, our tens represented, and our ones represented. All right, last but not least, we are going to move on to expanded notation. Now this takes your expanded form and breaks it up even more. So that way, you are broken up into place values. So we can keep looking back at this chart that we created, our place value chart right here with 10,586, and we need to figure out every single place value. So let's look at the 10,000s. That is going to be our biggest place value. So I am going to take my pencil and I'm going to write 10,000 because that's the place value we're in. So I have 10,000. And how many 10,000s do I have? Or what number is represented in the 10,000 spot on my place value chart? 1, right? So I'm going to take 10,000 and I'm going to multiply it by the number of 10,000s we have, which in this case is 1. So I'm just going to do 10,000 times 1. All right. So that is our first number. We have done the 10,000s place. So next, we can work our way down our place value chart. What comes next? The thousands. Do we have any thousands? Nope. I can leave it blank. Just like we did an expanded form up here, you can just leave a blank spot for it. So now I'm going to go ahead and add. We skipped our thousands because we don't have any. So now we move to our hundreds place. So what I'm going to have to go ahead and do is write 100, because that represents our hundred place. 100. And how many hundreds do we have according to our place value chart? Or even our expanded form? How many hundreds do we have? Well, what number's in there? A 5, very good. So I'm going to take 100 and multiply it by what? 5, excellent, because that's how many hundreds we have. All right, and it's super important when you are doing expanded notation that you are putting your parentheses, okay? Because that shows we are going to do 10,000 times 1. We're going to do 100 times 5. And that's going to give us these numbers up here. And then the last thing we can do is add to get to 10,586. All right, so we're going to move on. We've done our 10,000s. We've done our hundreds. I'm going to add my next spot here, which is our tens. So I'm going to go ahead and write 10. And then how many tens do I have? Look at our place value chart. There are 8. Very good. So what am I multiplying by? 8. And finally, we are moving down to our ones place. I'm going to write 1. And how many times do we have 1? 6 times. All right. So that is our expanded notation form. And now, if I want to go check my answers, I should be able to multiply each of these parenthetical sections and get the numbers we put in expanded form. So I'm going to go ahead and check that really quickly. So what's 10,000 times 1? 10,000. All right, so these match up right here. All right, the next thing we're looking at is 100 times 5. What is that? Well, 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 zeros. That gives us 500. That matches with that. Next, 10 times 8? Well, 1 times 8 is 8, and we have 1 0. So that gives us 80, which matches up with that. And finally, 1 times 6 gives us 6, which matches up with that. So our expanded notation is just breaking up our expanded form even more. And we know 10,000 plus 500 plus 80 plus 6 gives us 10,586. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this video today. I hope it was helpful for the packet work that you are doing. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, reach out. Please, though, if there is something you don't understand, be specific in your comments so that we can help you the best. What isn't making sense? Was it talking about expanded form or expanded notation? Was it making the connection between our numerical number and this notation at the end, okay? So just give us what you can so that we can best either make a video to help answer your question or write a comment to help. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. Be working on those packets, and I will see you in our next video. Bye, guys.